we go.
Hey guys, this is Eliza from Dusk Angel Reads. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing my favourite sci-fi reads.
Is this what we become?
Okay, first I'll start with Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This was actually the first audiobook I read besides Harry Potter, and I really enjoyed it. This is about this world where virtual reality, couldn't think of the word, where virtual reality is basically reality. Everyone lives in this game, well, this place called the Oasis. It's where they work, it's where they have school, it's where everything happens because life on Earth has gone to shit. It's about the creator dies, like the creator of the Oasis dies, and he has left his fortune to whoever can find these Easter eggs in the game first. And I think there's 4 or 5 of them, I don't know. It's been a while, but yeah, so the main character Wade goes off to find these, well, he doesn't go anywhere, it's a game, he's sitting in a trailer park, but he goes off to find these Easter eggs to hopefully win the fortune. Like I said, I listened to this one on audiobook, and this audiobook is narrated by Will Wheaton, who is like the perfect voice for this series, as it's very nerdy and gamey, and he just reminds me of Big Bang Theory, as he's on there as Wesley something or other. And yeah, so this was a really good audiobook. I really enjoyed it, and as a first audiobook besides Harry Potter, highly recommend it. The next book was also narrated by Will Wheaton, and it is also by Ernest Cline, and that is Armada, which is one of his other sci-fi books. So basically in Armada there is this game, and well, there's a lot of games, but there's like spaceships and stuff in this game that the gamers learn how to fly, and basically the government replicates those devices and gets in the best gamers that can control those spacecraft type thing, well, not spacecraft, but they can control these aircrafts, and they're needed basically to save the world. So they've trained these gamers in a game that they just thought was fiction, and it turns out it's actually reality and you guys have to save the world. So that's the main premise of it. It's kind of on the verge of Pixel, the movie, where the old like arcade gamers are the ones that are brought in to help, because yeah, well, that's a whole other situation, but the aliens are trying to kill them with the vintage games because they thought it was a war request. But yeah, it's on the same verge that real people play games and then get brought in by the government to help save the world using the skills that they have in those games. So yeah, it was really interesting, really fun. I really enjoyed the main character and the other side characters. A lot of them were very witty, and there was like an older lady who was like a mother who got called in, and she was awesome. I really enjoyed her. I can't remember what her name is, but yeah, I also listened to that one on an audiobook, and it's also narrated by Will Wheaton, which is also perfect because, again, gaming, sci-fi, he's like the perfect voice for anything to do with that. So while we're on the gaming type books, I'll also talk about Warcross by Marie Lu. This one is about a girl called Amika, and she is a very skilled hacker, and she accidentally hacks herself into this like world-aired game, and so everyone sees this mistake and sees her pop up inside this game where she shouldn't be, and she thinks she's gonna get in trouble for hacking into this game, but it turns out the creator of the game, Warcross, is actually recruiting her to try and find someone who he thinks is trying to infiltrate the game and trying to destroy him. So it just goes from there. It is really action-packed when it comes to the gaming side of it, and also sometimes out of the gaming side of it, but yeah, I really enjoyed this one. It's really interesting. I can't wait for Wildcard to come out, which is the next book in the series. The only thing I did not like about this is the romance. I thought it felt a little bit faked, but I'm not a romance reader to begin with, so I kind of ignore romances. So even if I say I love this book, I might not have liked the romance in it because I just don't enjoy romances. So that's just me. But yeah, so I didn't enjoy the romance in this one, but everything else I did really enjoy. Now we'll actually get into the space side of sci-fi. The first one is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This one is an adult sci-fi book, and it does have a sequel, but the sequels are companions, and I started reading the second one and I didn't enjoy it as much, and I haven't continued it. But this one I did listen to on audiobook, and I highly recommend the audiobook. The audiobook is done really well. But this one follows this girl who gets put on this spaceship as like an assistant or like a secretary or something along those lines. Something to do with like the paperwork side of things kind of thing. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while since I read it. But yeah, she gets put on this spaceship, and in this world we have grown and we have discovered species outside of our own. So there's a lot of different alien species that show up in this book, and I really enjoyed learning about all these species, as they're all very unique and very well developed. And this one is a very character driven book. It has a plot, but it's not like the main focus. The main focus is learning about the main character and all these other species. And we do have some diversity. There is a character, well, the main character is bisexual, I think, but she ends up with a woman. I'm not sure if she's bisexual or lesbian, but and then also some of the species are just fluid. Like there's one species who doesn't care whether it's male or female. They just go for it. And there's also another species that identifies as they. They don't identify with she or he or anything along those lines. They are only called they. So yeah, we do have some diversity in there, and I like that it was worked into the species. Like this is just how these species are. So I did really enjoy that aspect of it as well. But yeah, you can tell I enjoyed it because I listened to the audiobook and then went and bought a physical copy because I liked it that much. But yeah, I'm not sure whether I'm ever going to read the second book, as it actually follows an artificial intelligence that used to be the ship. I won't say anymore. But yeah, it follows an artificial intelligence, and I really liked the characters in this one, and it doesn't actually follow any of them except for that artificial intelligence. So yeah, I just couldn't get into that second book, but I'm gonna try it again on audio, like again, and see how I go. But yeah, I do highly recommend this one, and I've actually yeah, I need to finish the second one because I just got approved for the third book on NetGalley, so I'm gonna actually have to physically read it, which will be weird after listening to audiobooks. But yeah, I'm very keen to get to that third book, so hopefully I'll be able to push my way through the second so that way I can get to the third. The next book is The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid, and this one is another heavy sci-fi. It is, well, in this world there are these people who are basically brainwashed into not believing that they are human, and their sole purpose is to protect whoever they're assigned to. And we follow one of those, the Diabolic. And she is assigned to this younger girl, and she grows up with her, and then something happens, like the girl's father, I think it was, gets on the bad side of like the emperor, and the emperor requests that this girl comes to court, and instead of sending the girl, they replace her with the Diabolic. So yeah, it just follows her, and it is really interesting. I don't like the romancy side of this book. I thought it was like kind of predictable, so that's that. Yeah, for everything else I do really enjoy it, and a lot of people were going on about that they couldn't connect with the main character, and I get that, but I also understand that you're not meant to. The main character is basically in the brainwaves of an artificial intelligence, and she doesn't have emotions, she doesn't have anything like that. So yeah, it's going to be hard to connect with her because she isn't a human being. How are you meant to connect with her? So yeah, I do get that, but I also understand why, and I'm not worried about it. But yeah, I still haven't continued. The second book is called The Empress, I think. And I still haven't continued on with that one, but I really need to. But yeah, highly recommend this one. It's an awesome sci-fi, and it's got a really unique world in it as well. The last one is a trilogy, and I'm pretty sure no one is surprised about this at all. Hi, this is the Illuminae files by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. I'm gonna put those two down as it's fucking heavy. This one's heavy enough as it is, actually. But yeah, I don't think I need to explain what this one's about. It's just sci-fi amazingness. I absolutely love them. A lot of people were disappointed with Obsidio. which is really reflective. I wasn't. I know we were like, a lot of people were thinking that we might have got some more time with the characters, because in this one we're split between 2 main characters. In Gemina we're split with another 2 main characters, and then these ones, like the Illuminae characters, kind of come back into this one. And then in Obsidio we follow 6 characters in total. So there's 2 more new ones that come in this one, but then we also follow the 4 from these 2. And a lot of people were going on about that we didn't get to learn that much about the 2 new characters in Obsidio, and we didn't get to see that much from the characters from Illuminae and Gemina. But I really enjoyed it. Because of the way that it's written, I understood it, because we were seeing what was happening down on Krenza, and we were also seeing what was happening in the spaceships with the characters from Illuminae and Gemina. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't have a problem with that we didn't get to see more of the other 2 characters. But yeah, and also the format of this book is awesome. You know, you would have seen this by now. Like, it's everything. And I know some people have a lot of trouble of getting into this because of the format, but I didn't have a problem at all. And I also really recommend the audiobook. I've reread Illuminae and Gemina via audio before Obsidio came out. Actually, I think I reread them twice. But yeah, I reread them via audiobook, and I do recommend the audiobooks, but either I recommend them as a reread, or that you flip through the book while listening to the audiobook, because there is a lot of visual things that just can't be translated to words. So you'll miss out on pages like this, which are covered in faces of all the people who died. There's like pages of casualty lists, which they can't name every single person. And there's maps. There's, where's some of Aiden's stuff? Aiden is the psychotic AI, and like, that's a fight scene. That's the AI's brainwaves. So you miss out on the visual aspects. Like, that whole page is just the words down the bottom around there. You miss out on the visual aspects if you don't read the physical book. So I do recommend like flipping through. You don't have to flip through page by page, but just like flip through as you're going and see the visual things that you might have missed, like the maps and stuff. But yeah, I do highly recommend the audiobook. It is done by a full cast narration, and I still need to listen to Obsidio. We'll reread Obsidio via audiobook, which I'm so keen about. I might actually reread the whole thing. I'll start Illuminae and Gemina and then go to Obsidio, because I really enjoyed it and I want to reread it again. But yeah, don't think I need to talk anymore about this one. You guys get it. It's fucking amazing, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. So yeah, I think that's all the sci-fis that I want to recommend. Most of the others are like slightly sci-fi, more fantasy, so I'll put them on my fantasy recommendations. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Someone that plays, oh wait. Amie, if you're gonna come in here and just whinge, you can go outside. You hear me? Yeah? What's the matter? You been fed? What's the matter?